Okay, guys, welcome to Around the Table. We are discussing Twin Peaks Season 3. We're now going to be talking about Part 11 on this show, and I'd like to introduce my guests. First of all, I've got Ben. How are you, Ben?
I'm very well, thank you, Frank. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And we've also got Mark. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, fine, Frank. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome, mate. Okay, here we go. Part 11. I've done my notes, but please chime in, guys, whenever you want with anything I may have missed or you just want to comment on.
Yeah.
Right. We see these kids playing in the street, playing catch with a ball at the beginning. But the ball goes rolling over down to a curb, I think, in the street or something. And they discover the very battered and bruised body, she's still alive, though, of Miriam.
Yeah.
That Richard had tried to do in earlier on in the series.
I was just like, poor woman. But, the blood on her, it was just so disgusting. But I kind of had a gut instinct that she'd still be alive. I was just like, nah, this is going to come back and bite Richard on the ass. So I was so happy to see her back.
So was I, in a way, even though she's been suffering, obviously, very badly.
Yes.
I got to where she was. I've no idea. How she managed to crawl that far for help, I don't know. But then again, it depends how near that place was beyond the wood bit there, or the brush, I guess.
You actually visited that place in 2016.
What, that spot?
Yeah, I went on a spoiler tour at the US Festival. So just a few days went up on the Saturday. It's about 10 minutes from the intersection where... the actual accident happened, so it's not far from where Rose Motors was. So
it's around that part. Oh, right. I didn't realise.
It went by there. It's just up by sort of like the edge of North Bend, really. So we've actually visited it. We're actually told by a few spoiler people that like a body was found there, and the kids that found the body, but we didn't know what context that was in. So. I actually went up there, tried to get in where the kids were, but a dog actually chased me. I don't know if it was a black dog, but there's about 5 of us there, but it's really spooky, that place, but it's actually closed off now in actual public, because we tried to go up last year, but it's private property now, and just round the corner for that is where Miriam's Miriam's trailer was.
So it's all nearby.
Yeah, so that's also where Richard actually dumps the actual van. So that's all closed off now. So nobody can really get up there anymore. But it's pretty cool to go up at that time, really. So I had that text. But that's pretty cool. Like Mark Frost's son, he's actually in the scene as well. So he's the kid.
Yes,
the oldest kid.
I can't remember his name now. What was his name?
Cyril.
That was Cyril Points. That was I can't remember what it was, but the oldest kid definitely was.
He has got a young son in it. I can't remember.
His son's definitely.
I love the music in that. It's all like the sort
There's
of.
a Scott Frost. No, not Scott Frost. That's his brother.
That's his brother. Yeah. But
he wrote.
When he's boys, I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting the Frost mixed up with so many of them.
That's pretty cool, but I always sort of away that that episode in part 10 is really sort of the darkest bits, really, the Twin Peaks stuff.
Yeah. So let's get into it, because we've got a lot to do.
Sure.
Anyway, poor Miriam doesn't look good, but I'm glad that she's a witness and she's still alive, and hopefully at some point she might say something. But then again, we know later on what happens. His fate is sealed. But there's quite a bit about. There's quite a lot of story about Becky in this one. They focus quite a lot on Becky, Shelley and Bobby's daughter, in this. It seems that she's going frantic over trying to find Stephen, the drug addict boyfriend.
It was such an interesting cut to Becky, because she kind of delivers an almost Laura Palmer-esque scream as soon as we cut to her.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of fans have picked up on the parallels between Becky and Laura. And I'm kind of glad we got this episode with her, because, as a character, I feel Becky was criminally underused in the season. So this episode was kind of cool, just to see like where we're at with her and Stephen, and obviously we have the twist coming up with Gersten shortly. So
yes, exactly. She seems to be on on a mission to find him, and is sporting a gun as well. So she's in a bit of a bad state here, emotional state. Rings up her mum, Shelley, at the diner. Says she needs a car. So there's a lot of franticness going on. Anyway, Shelley says, to Norma, please, I've got to go and see her. Blah blah blah. Frantically drives down to the Fat Trout trailer park where Stephen's place is, just in time to see her come out, and she grabs the keys off Shelley, dashes into Shelley's car and starts moving. Now Shelley does something a bit irrational, trying to jump on the hood of the car. Let's go. Yeah, a bit of stunt work going on there. Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah, just love just say Carol with a wolf whistle. Really, just there in here.
Yes,
whistle. Yeah.
The whistle was genius.
Yeah, because Carol running
comes to the rescue.
Trout trailer. Carol running it. He probably comes across quite a lot of these incidents over his time there, and just as a manager, really. So it's pretty cool. He's got that, but he's also patched into the sort of sheriff station as well, really.
I like the fact that he's got all these connections there, hasn't he? He's got like a dial-a-cab in his own place. He's got a hotline straight to the sheriff's office.
Yeah. New Fat Trout trailer. It's only 5 minutes from the Tweeds, actually, just up the road. So everything's absolutely.
He's nearer now than to the peaks where in the original series, because the old Fat Trout was meant to be quite some distance away, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's behind the sort of sheriff station, just at the river, just behind the sheriff station, really.
Yeah.
So that all went away about 5 years ago, really, the original. So there's nothing there of that, but. Yeah, it's everything for the series, like all the trailers, everything is still there. So
they intentionally moved, I think, in the story. I mean, to have nearer to so he's nearer to Twin Peaks, basically.
I put him
like sort of where it was Deer Meadow, wasn't it? It was outside some distance from Twin Peaks, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I believe.
I actually put in my notes rewatching this. Shelley on Bonnet, both shocking and hilarious.
Yeah. It was strange.
Whether there was meant to be a comedy element to it, I'm not sure. Then I also put in the notes, Carl extremely sincere to Shelley, and got me thinking, like, this guy's lived a long, long life, and he's seen a lot of crap go down in that trailer park.
Oh, yeah.
Yet he's still got the biggest heart of possibly anyone on the show.
Yeah.
And, Harry Dean, he was such a legend, and I'm so glad they utilised him this season.
Absolutely. And it's nice to see him in this particular episode quite a lot as well.
Yes, agreed.
Pops up quite a bit. Which is always nice to see him on screen anyway. But they do, as I say, it's nice to see them get a little more time than they do in other episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, he looks after Shelley, as you said, and they get in the cab. Her knees are a bit bloodied, but she's okay. And as you say, the caring side of him is lovely, which again pops up in another scene later on, which is really beautiful with him. Anyway, he gets in touch with Deputy Bobby Briggs, obviously, and fills him in on what happened. So they're going to get to meet up together.
But I believe we see a quick cut of Norma still doing her paperwork.
Yeah, she's been doing that for about 6 episodes.
And then I think we go to the reveal of, we have Becky shooting at the door.
Oh, yes, that's right. She comes to
Stephen.
Or whoever's apartment it is.
Channeling her inner Diane there.
And I love again all these little characters that Lynch writes in.
Yeah.
Coming out of the room next door going, she's not here. She's not here. It's just the way
that room is pretty.
These little characters are so wonderful. Yeah. I love these little cameo things. Yeah. They're such quirky Lynch characters,
Yeah, she's for the love boat, the next door neighbour. Yeah, that's right.
So she just shuts the door again. That's it. But just those brief moments, I love those kind of things.
Yeah, and that apartment block, like me and Luke, Sean, just a few people visited. It's just beside the crosswalk, like the 5 Water Me, the accident one, right beside it. Yeah.
Wow. So more close by than you actually realise. Yeah, it's extraordinary. Yeah. I know the old mill. The mill we see in the Jack Rabbit Palace reveal thing. Bobby, when they come out of the sheriff's station, the old mill is just opposite.
It's opposite, yeah.
Now, in the old series, we thought, that's the mill's got to be about a mile or two away. But it's right across the street.
Because the sheriff's
But we never
department,
saw it, but, you know.
Sheriff's department was actually the office to the mill.
Yeah, it's a
That was the office for the old mill,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Before we move on to Gersten, I just want to make a quick mention about the sheriff's department that I put in my notes was how much crime is going on in Twin Peaks that the switchboard is constantly going off.
Oh, someone will be with you in a minute. Okay. Someone will be with you in a minute.
I actually thought that was just I thought it was just like people phoning in about that actual incident though. Because
impossible.
Calls, I think it's the neighbours and people that just.
This is like the extra like a relief department, I suppose, like the community officers we have over here. We can't, because the original task force is too small to cope with all these crimes. I think it's because there's such a drug thing going on in Twin Peaks now with the spa.
Very much so. Yeah.
That crime is like just going rife everywhere, and they're more busy than usual. 25 years have gone by, the place has gone to pot. Literally.
So, what was your guys' initial reaction to Gersten, like the first time you saw it? I was thrilled because I love Alicia Witt, but obviously my first question was, was this meant to be Donna's role? But then at the same time, I thought, no, I guess Gersten is closer in age to Stephen and Becky. But it was just such a great choice for such a minor character to come back. Yeah.
It was just a very brief moment where they're sort of hiding in the down the bottom.
I was shocked by it though. Like I just thought Gersten would have turned up with Doc Hayward really. So I was a bit shocked by it because obviously you see her in like the first episode of series 2, just like she's sort of the angel, just playing the piano really. So it's just a bit shocking. But you see for the
bad girl over 25 years.
Dusty explains it, but I think that might have been Donna's role. Really, just like speaking to a few people that know the call sheets and just like Lara Flynn Boyle actually turned it down in the new series. So
yes.
Yeah.
I actually met Alicia, I think it was a week after this episode originally aired. And she was so, excited to have been invited back. She didn't think it was going to happen. And, at the time I was just like, oh, please tell me we get more with you. And she was just like, you'll get some, and I don't think they'll be disappointed. So that was just such a cool moment. And, she's such a fan of the show too. So the fact, and she was so young when the original series aired. So, to come back after all that time as a grown adult and kind of, rejuvenate the character in such a different way, how lucky for an actor to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And she was in Dune as well.
Yes, she was.
The little girl that was scaring the shit out of people. that weird voice. And all right. Yeah. So she goes way back with English. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Now it's interesting. Now we see the Blue Rose team, arrive at the spot where Hastings says he saw Major Briggs, and there's a lot of exposition here. This episode does give us a lot of exposition. Yeah, it does drive the plot along a lot. There's a lot of things that are happening that say, this is what's this and that and the other.
This was the episode for me that it finally felt like, okay, things are merging now and we're rallying towards an ending now.
Yeah.
It's the first time you really see another portal apart from like the Black Lodge. So this is the first time with South Dakota you actually see another opening to a gateway. Really, but it's the opening to the convenience store.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest what the fuck moments.
Yes, definitely. That's beautifully shot. Just when they actually.
I like it. It's where the sky's warping and changing, and it goes into full throttle. Like a
the trailer of Michael Horst. That's a bit like Lynch at the end. You see the trailer at Michael Horst on locations. You see Gordon, and it's that bit where he's looking up at the actual portal. Really. So that's pretty cool, but but it's also like an episode that's like the most Cooperless episode, really, because there's a lot of allusions to Cooper.
And
Gordon's sort of playing Cooper's role in it, really.
Yeah,
I agree with. No, I was just going to say, to following on from Mark's point about Gordon taking on the Cooper role as well, this gave us, obviously they've built it up along the season, but this was one of the biggest points where we realised just how connected and in tune to the supernatural elements of the show that Cole really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very much. Yeah, that's sort of like the start. We see a lot more of that too.
Definitely.
Right. So him, Cooper, and Andy being the gifted, really, because they're the only ones that see the portals and actually remember them, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's brilliant though, because as I say, they're all there. Diane's there as well, and we start seeing the woodsman, popping in and out behind things and then disappearing, and it's all a bit freaky, And they do spot these woodsmen,
Yeah.
Cole says, "Did you see that, Albert?" Yes, and then so they're kind of aware of these things.
And Diane's reluctance to make herself...
She's looking directly at one, but she has got sunglasses on, so it's never quite clear whether she...
I interpreted it that she did and chose to say nothing. I think the way it was edited implied, but I guess it's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Although later on in this episode, is it this one?
Well, she does. Yes, she does confirm she saw something.
She does say she did see. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, one of the woods. I can't forget remembering that Bill Hastings is still sitting in the car while they're out there investigating. This whirlwind thing almost takes Cole away.
Yeah.
Had it not been for Albert, that somehow has had some, because he can't see Albert's point of view. He can't see the vortex.
Albert pulls him back.
That Gordon's in some kind of distress and pulls him out of there. Grabs him. Because God knows what would have happened if Cole had been sucked in there. I don't know, but that was quite tense for a moment.
I actually put in my notes as well. Christabel seemed more natural in this scene. Earlier on in the season, I will openly admit I wasn't a fan of the character, but she grew as the season went on. And this was one of the episodes where actually I thought Krista did a really good job. And I also in the notes, just as always, whenever he's on, was Matthew Lillard is phenomenal. He was one of the best casting decisions on this show.
Yeah.
And losing him was so gutting. Made sense for the story, of course, but what a grisly death, and brilliant.
He could have had a lot more input. He could have gone on for a bit longer. In fact, he could have been there at the part 17 bit when when they were all there.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been so cool.
He would have been ideal to have been in that group as well. I think because
he just gets killed after they find Ruth Davenport's body as well. So
yes,
the poor man died not knowing the truth.
Ruth Davenport, I presume.
All this exposition's happening in that scene. Yeah. There's so much being explained.
Yes. Yeah, you've got the funniest line in the episode, he's dead.
Yeah, he says that.
He's dead.
He's just confirms the obvious, the blatantly obvious.
Did anyone else also pick up? Did anyone pick up on the address that they were at was 2240 Sycamore as well?
Yeah.
So we get Christian Calloway, who's I'm sure you guys know, playing the big woodsman.
Yeah,
and who gets in, creeps up to the car, So and of course does, and I like Briscoe's reaction,
yes.
What was the line he said? But it was just the way he was reacting to it. Oh my god! Yeah. Oh my god! Or something like
that. Just from being sheerly oblivious to this big over the top reaction, it was just perfect timing.
Yeah. It's anyway, Willard doesn't look very good. He's lost half his head. And
he's dead.
He's dead. So that's the end of that one. But as you say, they do find these coordinates written on Ruth's arm, and Albert takes some shots of it and stuff on the camera, which plays into it later on. Again, plays
into it.
Yeah.
I put my notes about Buckham because me and a few fans done some research a few months ago. Really, it was actually when the episodes were on. It was going by White Sands Missile Base. Back in after the 50s, they took quite a lot of material from that, and they also were the missile silos. So that could have been a reason that first incorporated it. whereas they took stuff for right signs and sort of the woodsman followed them there, and that's that photo was created as well. Really. So there's quite a lot of news stories looked up on Google, really, where quite a lot of stuff for right signs ended up buckling and missile silos as part of that project. Yeah. Well, that could be something that first tied in. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got through that bit. That's cool.
Briggs family dinner.
Yes. I wouldn't call it a really happy family dinner. But we do get Bobby with Shelley and Becky at the diner, and talking about monetary problems that every family has.
Yeah. You know? Dana is such a great actor in this scene.
He's really good.
He is amazing, and
it's that kind of like you can see the little bits, the throwbacks to their early relationship when they were young. Comes up like the abuse, and you can see the way he's looking. He's thinking back to Leo. How he treated. It's all in the look, and he does play that bit really, really well. Yeah.
And you can't help but feel sorry for him as well.
He's really torn in this, isn't he? Yeah.
He's a really great father to Becky, I think, and he puts Shelley to shame. And what's more is Bobby's had this great character development where I can't help but feel that Shelley has been stuck in the same place for 25 years. She has not changed at all.
No. She seems to be playing it younger in this scene, doesn't she? Like the young kind of carefree, more.
Especially when Red comes along, it's almost hypnotic to her. She's just drawn in, but it's the same. It's the same reckless Shelley drawn to the bad boys, and I kind of was disappointed by that, if I'm honest. Yeah, and it's Bobby's reaction to Becky and how he deals with it that I really loved, but also the cutaways to Norma as well, in almost this motherly role. Yeah. And Norma looks on, and you can just tell that she sees the same similarities between Becky and Shelley.
Yeah, just like a grandmother role with the two daughters, really. Mm-hmm. Because both of them have been in the sort of abusive relationships now.
It's interesting because Norma always had that paternal kind of thing towards Shelley, even in the original.
Yes.
She's always looking out for her, always playing like the older sister or whatever, It's still... Now she's looking at Becky in that kind of way as well,
Yeah.
But chaos, absolute pandemonium starts breaking out in this.
Yeah, because that whole sequence goes from Twin Peaks to Dream Logic Twin Peaks, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Because gunshots start coming through the bloody window of the diner.
Yes.
And luckily, Bobby's off duty, but he's still carrying his firearm, and his badge.
It was cool to see him have that little action hero moment.
Yeah, it was really cool, like how he took control of everything.
Yeah.
He kept in the lights and all this, and he goes out and he's out on the street. The street's just going bonkers out there. There's car horns going crackers.
Oh, the car horn.
The car horn woman. That was really but I like little James Gricksoni, who plays Broxford, turns up.
Yes.
So he was at Big Ed's gas farm and heard the gunshots. Heard gunshots.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how far away is the gas farm from there?
Yes, I thought the same.
I don't know.
First time Big Ed's mentioned anyway, so...
Yeah. So anyway, he comes in and sort of takes care of a few things for him. Bobby's going, and then Bobby goes, I've got to sort this car horn thing out. This woman. And again, we're going back to these women. These are more older women or middle-aged women that Lynch seems to do very well. Like screaming in the car and all this, I've got places to go and all this, she's frantic. And then we get this kid. I'm still trying to work out if it's a girl or a boy.
I think she refers to it as a girl, but it looks like a boy.
Yeah.
So I just refer to them as zombie child.
Yeah. It comes up like that from the scene. Starts vomiting down the side of his mouth. And she's going, all this,
So I made notes on this, is this scene a commentary on impatient society and crime? What the hell is Zombie Child about? A comment on the impatient being mindless zombies?
It could be, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I read into it.
Just like the sort of, I think that's the only actual sort of kids sort of bothering a teenager you actually see, because every other kid's past their teens, really. which is weird, but sort of definitely something about sort of sickness and just Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that's what they say earlier on, like it. I think it's like there's a sickness.
Yeah.
There's a sickness in this.
Yeah.
It was weird as well when Bobby just has that moment just staring at the gun kid in the first car. They just psych each other out.
Well, that little kid, because he was dressed exactly the same as the man, do you think that was like a little Nicky moment?
Yeah.
He's dressed identical to his father, in the same clothes as the guy standing there. You know?
Yeah.
I also wonder if this was also kind of a nod from Lynch to fans and any naysayers he thought, may criticize the style of the show, just saying, patience is a virtue, stick with it, don't be a mindless zombie and, want everything thrown at you at once. Just take your time.
Yeah. It could, yeah.
This season is very meta on a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely.
But that scene was, I think it was really good because it was just like so tense and all this cacophony and noise. And God, this place has gone all of a sudden.
I got an explanation with certain elements, but it's never referred to again, which is pretty cool as well. So it's always been that sort of bit where, it's just everything's subliminal, just as Ben's saying. I mean, everybody can make a commentary on it, really. Just for how they feel about it, really.
No, I loved the ambiguity of it. Sometimes that's what's needed.
Yeah,
exactly. This is like more exposition here. This is an interesting bit where we get Frank Truman and Hawk together, with Hawk's map. This very visual map with all these different motifs.
Case place.
It's intriguing.
Michael Horse. Honestly, I've said it before. I say it again. I think Michael Horse was the strongest actor this season. His scenes were just incredible. Every scene he owned, just with poignancy.
Yeah, he was great. And it's a really nice scene, this, because he's taking up from what the log lady had been telling him. Mm-hmm. She actually phones up in this scene.
Yeah.
One of the last scenes she shot. This is the penultimate time we see her. You see her one more time later on. But there is fire where you are going, which is, of course, like the sort of like the umbrella title of the episode, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love this sort of scene because it's a very serious scene, And then suddenly it's just broken by the knock on the door from Broxton.
Yes.
Sorry, you want to see my new car?
But there was a lot of explanation for people who perhaps don't understand the supernatural elements. You've got good fire, bad fire.
Yeah.
Fire meaning modern day electricity, and black corn meaning disease and death and unnatural birth. It was all there for people who don't get it. It was done in such a simple way.
It was, yeah.
It was genius. But Catherine's scene as well was great, as log lady, and interesting. She says that the log is afraid of fire,
Yeah. Harking back to her husband dying in the fire and stuff.
Yeah.
I made some connections with that scene also with electricity, but then talks about the sort of map being current, but then he's going about 2 days from now, and then it's sort of pointing the scene about the infertility with the damage to that. It's like Nido, and then you get the actual fire there, which might be Cooper, which goes straight into sort of part 17, 18 really, where you get the real black smoke, and then it's like the Judy sign. So that could be to do sort of where Kip and Diane and Laura actually end up, certainly, because everybody was sort of expecting that. Just a big confrontation with Hawkett helm of it. Whereas if you go back and sort of study it, it's sort of that sort of signpost to part 17, 18. Stuff that happened there, really.
Ward and Albert and Diane.
Well, just quickly before we move on as well, Hawk also steers Frank away from the circle with the horn symbol, which I think we come to associate with Judy now as well.
Know about that or something.
You don't want to know. Yeah, that was delivered amazingly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really. We get a brief little bit here. Gordon, Albert, and Diane in the office as they discuss the coordinates of Musan. And
with one of the funniest lines ever from Albert. I know, fuck you, Albert.
He's so used to the program now, isn't he? Dougie, we get Dougie. Dougie's back. Dougie, Cooper, really. who's in Mullins' office.
As he's casually doing his push-ups on the table.
Yeah.
It's like a magnet to him, this coffee. He can bring him everywhere with this coffee. Just guides him along, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But things start coming together there as well, because of all this stuff that Coop's been doing, like writing these things, these little drawings down on files. Yeah. It's coming into place now. Now realising that, Mullins is realising that, the Mitchell brothers aren't as bad as they appear. And
I just want to say as well, thank you so much, David Lynch, for casting Don Murray. I've loved this guy since loved him in Knots Landing, and seeing him acting at his age still is just an absolute joy. Yeah,
he's absolutely stunning in this. I love him in this series. How he interacts with Doug is just beautiful.
Yeah.
So we get he gets Dougie to go out and have a rendezvous with the Mitchum brothers, and he's overjoyed about all this. Dougie, you'll be fine, man. You can do it, and all this, whatever.
I just love that when he says, like, it's evidence of you being like nearly assassinated twice and your car blowing up. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, 7 it's really
right.
Yeah.
Go on your way. Then he's patting him on the back.
This guy who sits there saying nothing, and he has so much faith and confidence in him. Really, Bushnell?
Yeah. But there's a lovely little moment where he comes out, and then you see Al Strobel at the end go,
yes.
That's like you see him, and that's why he goes in to get the cherry pie.
Yes, genius.
That was just great. So off Dougie goes.
But there was a little scene before Al Strobel's with the Mitchums talking about how much they want to kill Dougie and the dream, the dream, and there's a very quick cut to the clock, which is at 2:23. Yeah. Which of course adds up to the recurring number of 7.
Yeah. It's like 3 hours from 5:30 when I meet Dougie. Yeah. It's also connected with like Bradley Stream, really, and then obviously Mike turns up with to get the cherry pie. Mike's something to get Dougie to get the cherry pie because that's in the dream. Bradley Stream, really, with the cherry pie.
Yes. Yeah.
It just shows. I love how important dreams have been. And dreams and visions. Like nearly every character this season has had some sort of almost prophetic experience. So it's quite cool.
It's good though because he comes out with this big box, and you're thinking, Christ, that must be a huge pie in there.
Yeah, and it's just this little flat-based pie.
At the bottom of it, it's like this great bloody box. I could probably stack about 12 in it.
I also want to just say I loved the version of Viva Las Vegas by Sean Colvin in this and the whole cinematography of the strip. It was just
I was going to say that Peter Damon's cinematography. Yeah, it's just like Casino. So I just that bit of Casino as well. Really,
yeah. It was a really beautifully shot film.
The locations as you can on screen.
Yeah, because I remember seeing spoiler pictures. Obviously, when the Mitchums see Dougie. Used to think it was like Evil Cooper doing a deal, and else like later on you're watching it, that's where Cooper will finally wake up, but he doesn't. So then it keeps going on. Yeah.
So it's good. It's a nice little moment there. So Dougie arrives at the rendezvous, which seems to be out in the Nevada desert, with the box, and of course. Belushi is very good in this because he's going on about. He's trying to convince his brother that these dreams things are going to happen in these dreams that are going to be real, and his brother's very skeptical. And what the hell, like that.
The reactions to
going to be something in that box that's going to happen. If it's in that box, then this guy, we can't kill this guy. Right? Yeah. Please just go along with it.
Yeah.
So they go up, and is there a cherry pie in that box? There is. Right?
It's the ultimate fan service, yet it works so well.
And we were wondering when the cherry pie would come back and have significance. It does. This one, all hail the pie,
Donuts, coffee, and pie in the same episode. I love it.
Dougie says
we get it all in this.
Bradley is the only person that actually quotes Dougie, cherry pie. Which is good.
Yeah, I love that scene with these three. It's just wonderful how they come and start loving him. And
when he sees the check, Bradley just almost dances towards Robert Nepper. Just the reaction is priceless. Them dancing in the desert. These hard gangster men. Just
You notice the way they're whooping. It harks back to the barking with Bobby and
yes, with Mike.
They start howling like dogs. You know. Woo, woo.
Yes.
It's all there if you want to look into it that way. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're
brilliant scene,
and Dougie's become their new best friend now. I love this guy, and so they take him away, take him out for a lovely lavish meal out, in this lovely restaurant.
And my favourite guest character returns in this, Mrs. Jackpot, as she's credited, Lady Slot Addict.
You changed my life. Oh, I love you. And it was so sweet. It was so sweet, that.
But her and Jade are the best minor characters that have been added this season. Yeah,
I absolutely love her. It's lovely to see her back one more time there. Yeah. So she's, and of course the boys are watching this thing. God, this guy must be amazing. Look at all these people that are like saying that he saved their life and he's done this and he's touched them in, their life and their heart and,
They get heartbreak starting with a note and then it sort of wakes Cooper up for a second, really. Yeah.
That was just such a beautiful moment as he just... Yeah.
He's
just enthralled by the Badalamenti,
the music. Yeah, the piano player guy. Yeah. You almost think he's going to break into a familiar song, but he doesn't quite. You get, I think, one or two chords and then it's something else. But he's just entranced by it, Dougie.
And then he has his reaction then to the damn good cherry pie.
Yeah. He's only really copying what the other people say, but
there's a moment of realization there. There's a moment when he hears damn good. He knows.
A little moment there, it comes through.
It's the sort of start of the sort of light journey with everything alive in Las Vegas until it gets to the real end in Las Vegas, really. So let's just kill everybody's life starting to turn around at this point.
Yeah. So it's really beautiful. It's a lovely ending, and the music again plays over with not a band, but plays with the piano player, and the credits come up.
Yeah,
which is a nice little break. Sometimes they only done that a couple of times, but it was really sweet.
Yeah, and it's sad because you think he may not come back. Yeah,
it was a really tender story. It was lovely how they all.
It was a nice, easy ending, like a releaseful ending,
relaxing moment, a bit of thought provoking.
And I've got to say though, for such an episode that was filled with so much exposition, it flew by. It was a really
was fast. It was
well-paced episode. Yeah.
Very Twin Peaks. Yeah.
It's always a pleasure, Frank.
It's been absolutely great having you both on. Thank you so much for talking about this, and we'll be back soon with another episode. I'm going to do number 15 next. So I hope you guys that. Yeah. And thanks again, Ben. Thanks again, Mark.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.